He did have the information for the rough region, or he knew the road or anything like that, but he also managed to scan very precise where he is in that given region. Amerian, also someone who's pretty good at moving. So this time I feel like the moving game could be very interesting here. And anything that's happening after that is written in the stars.
Well, soon it will be written on your screens as well. As you can see here, Amerian trying to claw back further out from the bottom of this leaderboard. And Yanek sat in a spot from where, I mean, it would take a monumental effort, but he could still, I mean, with a couple of really good games gone his way, claw quite a bit further back up the leaderboard with a couple of weeks still left to play. But here we go. Into game one we are, as we head to Finland, it seems like. Yep, Yanek already there.
Correct. Yep, we should be in Finland, and it looks a bit more northern. I was talking about those low trees, thinner trees, which you see more towards the north in the Nordics. I would say we have that here, so should be somewhere along the north, and yeah. Other side of the country, but still getting the right rough area of the country.
Let's see now. It's round number 2 is upon us. We head to Japan. I kind of, you know what, come to think of it, I kind of like that we're getting all the US rounds now, when all the NA players and viewers are sleeping. Then all of us European and Asian guys can sit and giggle.
Actually, it's true.
Yeah,
especially we have Americans on the evening cast, and they probably
they
could have talked better about it than we do, but you know,
yeah,
we try.
but they don't meme as hard as we Europeans and the Asians do when we see NA rounds. So
yeah,
good on us.
That's a plus.
It is.
And it is the same region again, by the way. Should be in Hokuriku this time. I still have it in my head. I don't need to double check and Google it. But look at that. Amerian is right on it.
Yep. Good guess.
Very good guess there.
Good guess come through from Amerian. Not that it amounts into all that much damage, with it still being very early days in this matchup, but still good to get proper warmed up, as these two guys are walking down the street as well, getting those joints working, ready for the guesses to come.
Yes, and now we are in Romania. Given the architecture, especially the roofs, never mind. Now we have tile roofs, because starting off we had a lot of metal roofs, which are more like central and east in the country. But now I also see a couple tile roofs, so maybe we are somewhere central west or
so
central.
Yanek has one of these road indicators. There's the 114 and 546. Is that the road indicators, or what is he looking for here?
The 546 is the road number down at the on the side. The 114 is useless here. That's mile marker, like the mile. Yeah. So you are looking along the 546 road, if you can find it, and then you try to find Slatina or Deleni, are the towns that go along the 546.
Well, they're both in and around the same area, so would be minimal damage come through. Yeah. A little bit further to north, they would have been there. Looking good nonetheless.
Slatina right outside it. Don't know if it was pointing towards the south, but you know, maybe we were in the direction to it, but we're in a big curve on the road. That is possible.
Had Sheena been here, he would have been happy.
Yep.
Look at all these train tracks. By the way, this is just us making memes. I have no clue if he likes trains or not, but I like the idea that he does.
Making good guesses on them, so you would assume he knows something about railroads.
It does definitely help to line up positions every now and again, especially when you're out in the open, where you can see where they are.
But yeah, we are in Switzerland here. We have a German language, so we shouldn't be far south or southwest. We should be more towards the north of the country.
Can I again just say thank you for Amerian and Yanek taking their time in smaller countries, not just plonking and moving on. As a representative of a small country myself, I appreciate people, you know, strolling around for a bit before they just move on.
That is indeed something I also like. I also like to look into smaller countries, even though they don't matter too much in duels, because it's all based on distances.
Yep.
I still enjoy looking at countries that are not that big.
Let's see. Timer Down to 0 once more as we head into round number 5. And even more train tracks. It really is. I mean, the US and train tracks is what today has in common. As we move on. I'm gonna have to go back and start counting. I feel like we've had at least 10 rounds right next to trains.
Yeah, definitely day to day. And also we are in Switzerland again. So we could be spawning at the same railroad span maybe, but this time we don't have German language, so we should be further west in the country, given the looks as well. So now, if you know where in the west you get your railroads, we have the road number 30 here for Yanek. That's very good information actually, because those numbers are very findable, and he is on it. He has Tavan. Now he should look for a railway. If he finds it, he can get a very good guess. He finds it. He's in the town, getting closer and closer, adjusting it a little bit. But he's on the wrong side.
Station off. Maybe a couple, actually, as the damage does come through. I do like to see it, though. Like to see it. They spent the entire round in a Swiss round. That's a rarity. And then somebody here ends our Swiss train track streak. As we head a little bit further to the south. We do. And we do end up in Senegal here. Looking a bit more inland. Quite dry. Even though we have some pretty lush green trees that are growing in this desert. Let's see if they get to information. I mean, Senegal also contains good informations on their signs. Usually, I think that's just a thing in Africa in general. I feel like in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, here in Senegal as well. I think the signs always contain very good information. Here and Asia as well. Asia also has a lot of information on their signs. Yanek found a city name. Not sure if, well, at least he found a name that instantly committed him to Mbake. We'll see if that's going to be correct. Nope, not quite.
Oh,
there was a smile on his face initially. Now not so much anymore. I think he thought that he had something really, really good. He still wins the round, but maybe not by as much as he thought it was.
Yeah, kind of hard to make a guess only based on the architecture and vibes there. And now we are in Greece.
What's the easiest way in cities to differentiate in Greece?
Area codes, and you look for trash bins. They usually say the district on the trash bins. Okay. But they say it in the Greek script, so.
So rip.
You might have to learn that, or you compare letters. I mean. Yeah. Some of the letters are.
Yanek was 155 meters off and didn't 5K. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's the map that doesn't contain the northern and southern points of the world. Because scoring in GeoGuessr is based on how the locations are spread across the globe. And usually on world maps you have a location pretty far north in Canada. And on the south, what was it? McMurdo Station, I think, has a location in the south in Antarctica. By that, the scoring will get a bit more forgiving, so you already 5K with like 165 meters or anything like that.
Unfortunate. Nonetheless, Yanek now moving over towards Oregon. We were down here last week, pretty much the exact same area. Yanek is now sat hovering, going up towards Canyonville, and he's being joined by Amerian. What are they seeing here?
Not much. I mean, this is a pure landscape and vibe, because I think I didn't see any information on either screen. But the vibes are definitely on Yanek's side here, getting that west coast.
Big hit.
Correct, and it's 3k damage.
Yeah, big hit and a great time to get it through as well, coming into round 9 now. You really want to separate yourself. Should round 10 become the deciding factor. I feel like this game, I mean, having just gone from 2 games where it was pretty much done by 9 rounds played, this game feels like it's dragging on, but I like to see it. These guys both very even in playstyle right now, but now Yanek, off of that last round, separating himself, and now hopping to New Brunswick.
Yeah, getting a quick guess down there. Maybe has a vibe for specific region, New Brunswick, but yeah, I would assume they both end up there. But again, Yanek just getting the right corner of the province. That's a good guess, and Amerin is also giving him that GG for that great region guess.
Yeah.
Putting him down to 585 HP. Now, depending on the country size, I mean, it is a big country, but it is clear that we are in the central west or central north of the country.
So let's see how much distance is needed here. 40, yeah, you need 4,400 damage or around there if you're Amerin to try and win this round here in round number 10. Yanek, pretty locked in, and these does log in. 14 seconds now. What does Amerin do here?
Yeah, I would assume maybe he will try something extreme, maybe go far north or very far west.
Yeah, they're on top of each other.
But if you're on top of each other, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. If Yanek is right on it, it is gonna be game.
Indeed it is, at least for the first one of them. Moving goes the way of Yanek, as we now head on over to no move.
We go over to the next mode, no move, no more moving around. They will both see the same stuff. And we start off. I mean, just doesn't stop today, does it?
Nope, it's full US galore.
See, maybe that's why I was biased and did shout out US out of
you were setting
nowhere
this up to begin with. That's what was
know.
happening. I see.
Maybe.
GeoGuessr brought to you by. Yeah, exactly. That's the vibe we're working with today. As Yanek hops up the river a little bit. Should have been further towards the south, though, where Amerin was sat. Because just south of St. Louis is where the pin was placed. And that's going to be 700 damage taken on the side of the German.
Yeah, quite a difficult round to read and guess, but Amerin gets that one. So move over to a Poland round. We have those holy poles. The architecture also looks very Polish. Getting a region guess down in Poland is quite impossible, and this is just proving it.
All the way north. And this one didn't want to take the time to try and figure out exactly where they were. I feel like it's a big enough country that you can definitely get some good points in there, but felt comfortable with their central guesses, and comes to cost.
Yep, that's what we have seen and will continue to see a lot, is just a central click in Poland, because it's really just so difficult. If you don't have mountains, it just can be anywhere really. I mean, there's a lot of small clues you can use, like different regional poles and lamps do exist. I do know that, but it's just a few people who really grind and learn that, and that's decent points here in Ukraine.
Definitely, for being 200 kilometers off himself. Downtown Lviv is where they would have wanted to go, now knowing where the location was. As we go, oh wow, you're not gonna get a lot of info from down the tunnel.
Yep, pretty quick capital guess.
Skip.
I mean, the signage looks Spanish. That's why both players end up in Spain, for those who are curious how they did end up in Spain. Besides that, yeah, I mean, we are in a tunnel. Not a fun location to guess.
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's a tricky game. First into the Ukrainian forests, and now into a Spanish tunnel as we go with yet another forested location. This one way further out in the open, though, as Yanek, okay, heads towards the northern coast of Norway.
Don't know if we are far north. I could see this even being further, like, west on an island, but you seem confident.
It does.
And there's a reason.
Yeah. Could have gone even further. Would have been better. But he's going to be satisfied with this one as well. Now coming into round number 10, sat at twice the health of Amerin. For the sake of Amerin, he needs to somehow turn this one around. It's looking to very comfortably go Yanek's way.
And again, this is a kind of similar round to the one where I said it could be Amazonas, Para, or Mato Grosso. But this time I'm more on the Para or Mato Grosso side.
We'll see if you're gonna be right.
So yeah, I do like Yanek's guess. He is pretty far north in Mato Grosso, still covering the possibilities in Para. Whereas Amerian is in Para, and it is indeed... It is quite a 50-50, you know, but you have to be right. You have to be right in Brazil.
What a turnaround.
Go with that 50-50 and be wrong. You will get punished in Brazil.
Definitely will. Big round for Amarain, taking this one into NMPC. He had 1 round left to try and make something happen, and he did exactly that. Now, 1-1 is the score as we go into NMPC, straight down to Chile for Yanek, and Amarain is there to follow.
Finally, some NMPC. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, true. That is true.
And yeah. But that's pretty straightforward. We have the pole on the left, which is a Chilean pole. Looks pretty green, so you go further south. Amerian actually very far north. I don't know why he ended up there. Because it should be, I mean, given how green it was. In those terms, Chile is a fun country to guess. Because it literally goes from very deserty to very green the further south you go. So you can use that as an estimate where you are along the country. So even though it is a long stretch, it is very region guessable, and we are, who would have thought, in
America.
the US. I do like the southern guesses. Don't know where exactly along the south. It is Texas.
Yeah, both staying on the southeastern tip of New Mexico. Could have gone a bit further south, would have gotten them better positions, but pretty decent guessing with this one as well, as we head on in to round number 3. And I mean, coming in a couple of rounds ago, I would have said this is clearly Yanek when he was feeling, I mean, playing very, very well. But now, yeah, Amarain starting to claw back here, starting to look more promising.
Yeah. Again, year round shouldn't matter too much points-wise. But let's see what they end up guessing. Yep.
Wow. They were practically set on top of one another.
Yep. I mean, that industrial area, I could tell you why they did end up there. There's a lot of, like, sandy roads there. Like, just paved roads with sand over it.
Yep.
Might be the reason why they both did end up there. And now we should be... Is it south of Newman? What is the driving direction? We are driving
left.
North. So Yanek is on the right road. I did learn those roads last week to differentiate between them. They are both on it though. No, Amarain is south of Newman. That's wrong because that road drives to the south.
Yeah, 200 kilometers in between them as well. That's going to be 1,500 damage. Now, it's at 2,500 below Yanek. I mean, we saw it in the previous game. It just takes one really good guess and a mistake on the other side, and the table is completely flipped upside down. So what do we have here?
It does indeed, and we ship in India. Fairly flat, which puts you more towards the north, but there are definitely big valleys like that inland too. But my vibes are somewhere northwestern. Not too far though. So we have Yanek
bouncing up and down and up and down and up and down. Flip a coin, my man.
I mean, I fully agree with Yanek. I mean, that's literally what I just said. It could be like inland, but by the chances, we should be northwest.
The distance between these guesses
does he go for the hedge, or does he go for a commitment? That is what he has to decide on now. And let's see.
It's gonna be costly, no doubt. You can see Amarain not really daring to go too far out on the edge of the country, as he could have gone further south. Yanek, frustrating loss in that one. Should not be enough to be game, but a big hit that I guess he could have avoided had his coin landed differently.
Yeah, I mean, he was high up north at some point, and he was also further south at some point, so I think he can be happy with where he ended up. Not losing even more health than he already did. And we have a basketball court here.
Wow. So therefore easily Amarain wins, or what?
Should be. Like, you see it a lot in the Philippines. It's a big sport in the Philippines, basketball. But that's only giving you the country. Now, where? I have no idea. But it seems to be a bit further north.
from now on, you will never forget that basketball court again. As Yanek,
Oh,
well, he was sat in a comfortable 2,500 point lead just 2 rounds ago. Now, sat below at 1290. Needing something great happening, but what do you get here? Out in the wilderness in Russia, potentially. Oh, Amerian, my mans.
I was
like
considering...
Not for the guess, but for the fact that you just
Okay.
clicked there for a second. It was more tribute thing.
On the span on the border of Ukraine and Russia.
No, my man.
Yeah, okay.
No, my man. You can't go Denmark in a route like that. Come over. I'll teach you. I'll show you. He's even shaking his head. I get it. I get it. I hate it when Denmark is wrong, too. But in this time around, it was. And Yanek comes out victorious here once again.
Yep, he was not happy about that round at all. Amerian really had his hopes up there for a reason. I mean...